What is good? Welcome back. Another episode of Yahmsayin with Michael Turner. Got a guest, fellow honky, Bryan Vokey in the building. How you doing?
I podcast a lot. I haven't gone without headphones, and it feels crazy.
Is it wild? We're going raw,
dude. I'm raw dogging this podcast.
You like it? Do you trust me?
It's not that I don't trust you; it's that I don't trust me.
I fucked up the audio with Ramsey, actually, our good buddy. Yeah, that was the only one.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I fucked up.
That makes sense.
So 24 for 25.
Palestinian guy can't get a break.
Honestly, yeah. Speaking of that, I brought my Roman Catholic friend on. I'm Irish Catholic, and we knew you guys wanted to hear our opinion on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. No, couple of honks in L.A. doing our thing. I'm trying to bring that back, honkies. We got to own that again.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Also, we never lost ownership. We just kind of loaned it out.
It's just it's the least hurtful slur ever invented. So
100%.
I think it just never really.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fun.
What does it mean?
I don't know. I know that it means me and you.
Yeah, I know that.
I know that, but I don't know what it means. I don't like what the root of it.
Yeah, I guess honestly, what do any slurs mean? What does the N-word mean? You know what I mean? Like
that means it means something actually. I did hear this. It's like
cracker. I get that's self-explanatory.
Cracker. I get the N-word is something it's one thing in a pile of bushes or something like that stood out.
Oh, it's like an old archaic word.
It's like a thing. Yeah, it was like I might be wrong on that, but it was something that stood out in a pile of bushes. Is what I have heard before, which is like something that stood out in the South.
That's a problematic guy. The guy who actually knows what that word
the
means.
guy that Googled it.
Yeah,
who sat down.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, he's a problem. Whoever.
So thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
But I can't be a problem, dude. I have a Run the Jewels shirt on. This is
Did
my.
you go see them?
This is the whitest hip hop band you can appreciate. Yeah, so
it literally says rap fan on there.
I know. I actually was in a pinch. The one I wanted was like it was a medium, and I put on some LBs. I'm like, let's go with that one. You got that large?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let it breathe a little bit more, dude. I just saw them last week. Do you know what they're doing? Are you also? This is. I feel like. I know you're not a hip hop guy so much, but this is probably as close to your genre of hip hop that you would like.
Yeah,
is that fair?
It's pretty close, but I it's a little modern for me. Like I just fell off with hip hop. Like Outkast was the last thing I was. Yeah, and then
you haven't missed much since.
Yeah. Before, I mean, I did like all that like Warped Tour hip hop, like Jurassic 5 and Far Side, and
that was great.
All the Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, I love that shit. That was the stuff. Shit. I stayed in the underground appreciation mode, and then like you could argue that Run the Jewels is like the culmination of what underground hip hop became, which now it's completely flipped, and actually that type of shit is the popular stuff.
For modern hip hop, it's all women that I like now. Like it's funny when you listen to like hip hop on the radio, all the men are crying and all the women are like, fuck you in your ass, you fucking bitch.
Yeah,
and I
it's completely
like
flipped.
that hard stuff. And I like how Meg Thee Stallion.
That's the shit I remember.
Yeah, she's like Eazy-E.
Oh, dude, Ice Spice, all these. They're talking about fucking us.
Yeah.
And making us pay.
I love it.
It's like, let's go, dude. We've been doing it already.
I love aggression. I don't care if it's directed towards me.
Well, this is so. Run the Jewels is like I always say. It's the type of music that pairs well with like a prison riot.
Right. I'm familiar with their beats and stuff. Like I've listened to them instrumentally.
Yeah, they're all over commercials and shit like that, which is funny. The underground, and then now they're commercially successful.
And that guy's like, I remember he was like a big Bernie guy. I don't know what he's up to now.
Killer Mike,
the
large black gentleman. He's probably gonna run for office. Honestly, I could see him like getting into politics,
like local Georgia.
He's like,
politics?
He's like a dude. You know what? Actually, I could see him not getting into politics, but being a dude that moves the culture against like fucked up politicians. That's really all they're rapping about is how the man is horrible.
I think there should be more minister and czar positions. Like, do you see Japan just put up a minister of loneliness?
No.
Yeah, they got a guy in charge of.
I almost thought you said China. I was like, that doesn't sound Chinese. Japan. That's pretty progressive.
Yeah.
A minister of loneliness. What does that mean? What does that entail?
He's probably trying to curtail suicides and
he's just listening to Frank Ocean every day.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, no, he's probably the opposite. He's the least lonely guy in the room, and they're like, let's teach this guy. He's like the minister of friendship. You can also call it that.
Just constantly partying.
Yeah. Just like making people like, let me help your social skills. Like almost like maybe it's like an alpha male boot camp type thing, kind of thing, where he's like, training people on how to interact with people.
That'd be just constantly surrounded by people too. Sounds a little bit like Jesus, actually. Surrounded by too many guys will actually get you fucked up.
I just think that it's just so funny that, like, I think they're saying it's because of cell phones and stuff. But just the fact that people are so fucking isolated and lonely that now that the government's getting involved.
Dude.
We need to get you some friends.
Honestly, it's kind of getting to that
Friend
point.
stamp program.
This country's fucked up, dude. These kids don't do anything. They're all inside. It is fucked. I feel like it's funny that the older we get, the more the same thing is the truth. Is like we want to tell these kids to get outside. Dude, all my parents told me was to go outside growing up. Yeah. We actually did, though.
You did?
I mean, we went outside. Yeah. I don't think we had a regular Nintendo. We never went Super. You know what I mean? Like we weren't balling like that. And it was like, dude, let's get outside. How many times can I play Blades of Steel?
Yeah.
Just to get to
lot.
100% actually. Just to get to that intermission where it was the Galaga game.
Tecmo Bowl?
Oh, Tecmo Bowl was good.
Stop with that.
I know, you're right. Actually, original Nintendo had some things. Blades of Steel was good. You just played it for the fights.
Yeah. And I played Tecmo Bowl. It was Bo Jackson. That was the guy.
Yeah.
Every time. Dude, you got to go Bo.
Yeah.
But I fucking, I wasn't outside very much. And then when I did get outside, it was like I had been in prison. It was like, I'm going to start fires.
Okay.
I'm going to fucking like try to build little bombs.
Yeah, you had some unchecked aggression growing up, which is weird. You were outdoor, like I'm from Ohio. You're from Maine.
Yeah.
That seems like a place you would just go outside.
Right. Well, that's all you could do. But we would go in Maine. We would go to my friend's Kevin's. Maine is like the South in the fact that the woods has like abandoned cars that you can go like shoot.
Okay.
Stuff. I don't know.
That's fun.
You're probably familiar with that in Ohio.
I mean, we didn't really do that type of stuff. We weren't in the country as much. We were like not in the city, but then we weren't all the way out in the country. We were like definitely classic suburb type of shit. Yeah. So
Cincinnati suburbs still seems pretty redneck though. I would imagine.
There's pockets of it that are very. We were actually probably. I grew up with actually a lot of like affluent families, but then I was the broke kid with a bunch of rich kids growing up. And then a lot of Jewish kids, actually, when I was growing up. And then, so pretty, like, kind of standard, not a lot of gun shit going on.
Right.
But there is also project housing within our communities.
Right.
And that's where, if you can believe it, the guns were.
Really?
Yeah, I remember I had a buddy.
They flooded him.
Call
they brought
us
him in.
up.
The CIA brought the guns in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just watched American Made with Tom Cruise. Pretty much covers the whole thing. Shout out to Barry Seal. But
was Barry Seal the pilot who
the started the Pablo? Yeah, he elevated Pablo. Yeah. He was like the dude that gave him the head start on everything, and then just kept
But he was
running.
also maybe CIA or something.
And then he was CIA also the whole time. What a country,
dude! Tom Cruise rules.
Don't get me started. But no, the only time I ever got called with a gun altercation was when my buddies were in. So there's this area, there's this pizza tower that our buddies actually owned, a good pizza spot in Fields Ertl. Shout out to the Ert. And then right next to it, adjacent to it, was this project housing area, just townhomes and stuff like that. And it was definitely sketchy. Our buddies at the pizza tower place, anybody that worked there that was like a pizza delivery guy, they would definitely have gotten robbed. Yeah. We had a good friend that got his car stolen for like 6 months. They actually found it, gave it back to him, and then that was his first time he actually listened to a Tupac album. They had like really good albums in the car when they got. Yeah, they left like a really good discography in there. He kind of opened his eyes. He was like, dude, this guy really is one of the top 5 MCs of all time. And then, but one time we got a call, and my buddy's brother had gotten over like an eighth of weed, gotten pistol whipped. And they took the eighth of weed, and he called his brother, who I was with, and then all of a sudden the reaction was, this is the other part of it. It's like, if you don't have guns, you're just an aggressive dude from Ohio that will fight over anything type of shit. Like, fucking, what'd you do to my brother? I'm gonna fucking knock you out. Yeah. And we're getting in a car and we're driving over there, and I'm the only one that's thinking like, so we know one thing is that they have a gun.
There's a gun,
and we're going there with 0 guns.
Are you guys familiar with Chekhov?
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, and then you sound like a bitch in the back of this van that you're borrowing from your mother, and you're like, maybe
I don't think you sound like a bitch.
I agree 100%. I'm happy that I like chimed in. I was like, so I think we should kind of flip a bitch on this.
Yeah.
He should go to the hospital, maybe get some stitches, but let's avoid the pizza tower tonight if we know there's a gun. So that was that. But we didn't get out to the woods and shoot a bunch. There was some BB guns and shit like that. But I didn't get into shooting until Arizona.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I imagine you probably, like, because I consider you the mayor of Arizona.
Sure.
Not the governor.
No,
mayor.
No. The mayor gets away with far more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also, this is just not as high of a bar.
Sure.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. So I imagine you probably got some guys who could take you out and shoot like fucking Desert Eagles and like
the Judge. You know the Judge pistol?
No, what is that?
It's a 44 caliber Magnum.
Oh, it's the Dirty Harry gun? Is that what that is?
Is it? I don't know. I wouldn't know that correlation, but I know it's called the Judge. Like it's just a
long barrel.
No, not a long barrel, shorter barrel, but just fucking massive kickback on it. Yeah, that was the first gun I ever shot. My buddy's like, just fucking pull the trigger. I'm like, what, dude? This is gonna fuck me up, dude. I've seen this on the internet. This is not gonna look good for me.
Were you at a range?
Yeah, I was at a range. We did that. I actually wasn't a bad shot. We had that, and then he had a traditional, what would it be? Maybe a Mossberg shotgun or something that I put on my shoulder. And then we did the skeet shooting. Yep. That was pretty fun.
That shit's fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Me and Bruce Gray went skeet shooting
during
the pandemic. Tejon Ranch over there, like on the other side of the Grapevine.
In California,
though. Headed towards Bakersfield.
Okay. Yeah. Bakersfield is pretty much not California. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, no, 100%. Bakersfield is interesting, though, because it feels redneck and country, and it is, but it's got big oil and big ag. There is serious money.
Oh yes,
going through there,
100%
serious money.
I mean, even up Fresno and shit like that. Like I go like Central Valley. Is Bakersfield Central Valley?
100%.
That's the Midwest.
Yeah,
that's like honestly, I was like, this is like Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's really and I like it.
Yeah.
But also, it's a little grimier too. Like it's also if you've been to Phoenix,
Cincinnati,
Fresno. Specifically, Bakersfield.
The one time I went to Cincinnati, I was mostly in the hood, and it was like real hood.
Oh, that's different crime.
Like
you're right. I don't
think Bakersfield has.
Bakersfield doesn't have that. You're right. But I would say the whole thing, the sprawl, is just disgusting.
Yeah. It's an eyesore. Cincinnati's way more beautiful. Rivers and bridge. I love a bridge town.
Yes, big bridge town.
Yeah.
But the pockets of niceness are so far above anything in Fresno. But you're right. I would say the pockets of like grime or ghetto shit can be very scary.
Yeah. Cincinnati, it was legit hood. It was like anything I've seen in Atlanta or anything. It was wild.
It's special.
Neglected.
Which is funny because we've actually cleaned it up a lot.
Really?
It's way better than it was. It used to be like
art galleries and cupcake shops.
Yeah, it's like well, we did it's funny to brag about it, but we did a great job of gentrification.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is East LA, like where I live.
Yeah.
The neighborhood is still like 90% Mexican or Latino.
Yeah.
Yet in the 90s, it was like Murder City. It was
that pocket?
Where I live.
Where are you at Boyle Heights?
Yeah, Boyle Heights City Terrace. Yeah.
Okay.
And Chris Estrada told me next time, because this is a sidetrack, but it's worth it. There's this guy who posts up at my gas station.
Okay.
And he always fucks with me, but it's like funny. He was like, "Where
you specifically?"
Yeah. Well, I'm sure all the other white people do.
Yeah, but
he's like, "Where are you from, fool?"
Okay.
So I'm so white. I didn't know there's a right answer to where you're from. So when somebody asks you where you're from, they're asking what set you're with, what gang you're with.
Sure.
So,
but obviously,
I legit was like, "Well, I grew up in Maine and I moved to Atlanta." But I didn't know if you're not affiliated.
That's the best.
I thought he was
kind of Atlanta by proxy, but like Maine.
Yeah. But the right answer is if you're not affiliated, say I'm from nowhere, fool.
And,
really? Yeah. And I'm from nowhere.
Interesting. That's good intel.
Yeah. So I cannot wait to go back to the gas station and be like, I'm from nowhere. But Chris Estrada was like, you should tell him. He's like, tell him you're from big ass, Badass City Terrace. He goes, "Hey, I'm from Badass City Terrace, fool."
Oh my god!
And just because the guy's harmless, he's like an old homie.
He's actually not gonna do
anything.
anything.
I could beat the dog shit out of him, and that's not saying anything about me.
Yeah. There's no follow up in his questioning.
Yeah. But he's got some prison tendencies. Like he posts up at the pumps, just standing there, like he's guarding him. And the other day, I opened my door, but he had to move for me to open my door. And I almost hit him with the door. And I'm like, sorry. And he's like, don't say sorry, bitch. He's like standing in my way. I'm like, what do I didn't go to jail. What do I do?
I'm from nowhere, sir.
Yeah.
I'm from nowowhere. What? Jesus Christ.
But that neighborhood is like safe as like is safe.
No, I've been over there. It's fine.
I don't know.
I don't feel unsafe at all.
I wonder what happened, because generally when neighborhoods change, they change, like there's a turnover in the population. They like the rent goes up and they kick people out.
Different faces in the homes.
Faces come in. But these are people who have been here since the 80s and 90s, and the murdering just stopped. I wonder what the fuck happened.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know.
It never happens.
Yeah. Did they? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because you could also just get gentrified with new. I mean, at the end of the day, different generations of immigrants are coming in, and they didn't want to live like that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So maybe they just cleaned it. I don't know. That's interesting. We should do a documentary about that.
I know, dude. What happened?
the white dudes answering the question.
What happened?
Hey, what happened? we're the dudes that are like, it shouldn't be like this.
Yeah,
You're not us.
Why am I so safe?
Why are you guys civilized now? This is wild. What a fucked up thing to say. So why'd you guys stop killing each other then?
Yeah.
The long-term effects there?
Dude, I also want a little credit. Now, I'm a humble guy. I don't like to take a lot of credit.
I know that about you.
You know, I mean, really, you know, I'm like one of the greatest living comedians, but I don't have to bang on about it like Dave Chappelle. I'm not that insecure. I just keep
one
my
of the
head
best. Bryan Vokey. Bryan with a Y.
I want a little credit because I pulled over at a cafe and blew it up because I didn't want to blow up your bathroom.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What cafe? Any good one?
Over in Crenshaw Plaza, right around the corner. It's a little Korean cafe.
Oh wow, that was probably a personal attack on those people. Shout out to gentrification.
Finish it with my grandfather.
Yeah, exactly. Good Lord.
Yeah. This is for the 53rd parallel.
Oh, that is too funny, dude.
Yeah, I blew it up, and I felt like, you know, you don't. I love beef jerky. You don't want a 38-year-old man who loves beef jerky taking his shit
I mean,
in
you
your
could have
house.
cleaned up. We got two best bathrooms out of Thunder and Chappelle's.
Yeah, but there's
He'd
no
have been
way.
offended.
The whole time I was sitting on the toilet, I was like, I'm a great guy.
That's a good.
This.
No, well, the funny thing is, we're old enough where in my 20s, I would have come over and I would have taken the shit and made it like a personal thing. I've been like, dude, where's your bathroom?
Yeah.
I'm about to fucking destroy
I also
your
would have
apartment.
been hitting you with an H&H whiskey shit, like
a
right, $3 pint.
You were a booze bag, weren't you?
Big time.
I was thinking about this. So you're sober how many years now? 2 or 3?
Creeping up on 3.
So was it?
Still smoke weed.
Did it have anything to do with the pandemic? The decision, or
no. It wasn't. No, there was no reckoning. It just had to stop. And I actually kind of slowed down into the stop. So
nice.
It was pretty nice. But I was remembering. So Ancient
you yielded
Age,
into the stop.
Yeah,
that's nice.
The Ancient Age. Do you ever drink that?
Ancient Age?
Yeah.
No, that's
so there's plastic bottle pints.
Oh,
so I had this
we used to have
theory,
Mr.
right?
Boston's.
So the coloring is fake, right? So I had this theory that I was like, if you freeze it, the alcohol doesn't freeze, but all that like fake coloring and stuff kind of turns into it freezes. And so I considered it an extra distillation where I was like, people don't realize that if you just freeze Ancient Age and it would come out clear, I'd be like, that's like high quality liquor. Because
you did need to stop drinking. Good Lord.
Because like I would freeze my Ancient Age and then the bottom it would settle this like Amato or whatever color at the bottom, this caramel thing would all freeze at the bottom, and then this clear liquid. I also used to run pop off through a brie filter.
Jesus.
And I was
Christ.
like, dude, this is like.
So
now
you
it's
were
like a $50 bottle
a broke
vodka.
alcoholic and they tried to elevate, but it was also kind of snotty in a way where you wanted to elevate.
Yes.
You're like, this isn't doing it for me, but I can't afford anything else. Let's just make this Grey Goose.
I'm like a hobo who homebrews.
That's crazy, dude. So that's because I was trying to think. Some people quit, and then I listen to their stories, and I'm like, you weren't a real booze bag. Like, God bless him, but our friend Chappelle Lacey, he not to air him out too much. He knows he would get. His stories are typically him telling me like, "Oh, you were a bad drunk, but you weren't a drunk."
Right.
You shouldn't. You couldn't handle
your drunk. You were bad.
Yeah.
You like couldn't handle it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he would do dumb shit.
Right.
His anger would pop off.
Yeah.
Which is like, God bless him. If you get drunk and you can't control your anger and it turns into things that could get you like arrested or whatever like that, or fuck other people.
Jacked.
100%.
Guy who could do flips.
Large dude.
Large
One
dude
of our
who do
largest
backflips.
friends.
Yeah.
He's the biggest 5'11" dude I've ever met.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Legit DT energy.
Yeah, 100%. But like he wasn't like a wake up in the morning, let me get this coffee and put some bourbon in it. Yeah. Just fucking like the detective that has a cold case he hasn't figured out. Just nipping at the bourbon and the coffee.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you smell like last night. He wasn't that type of dude, but there's also I love a good booze bag like you that really had a problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You had
for sure, dude.
You had some issues.
I remember when I was living in Athens, Georgia. Every morning I would go get a 30 rack of Old Milwaukee, and because it was so hot there and humid that you could just drink the 30 rack all day and you pretty much fine.
Yeah.
But I remember we would do that every day, and then Lee's Package, the liquor store that was walking distance to my house, closed. And then one block up, there was another liquor store. But when that liquor store that was one block closer to my house closed, I thought it was like somebody had died. Like I wanted to light candle. I was like, what the fuck are we gonna do? I was like panicking because of the extra block I had to walk for my 30 rack of Old Milwaukee.
Do you have any? Was there any stories that were just like, God damn, that's? I mean, not that you don't have to air it out if it's embarrassing, but like things that you completely regret of your drinking days.
Oh,
like,
dude, I got millions.
Yeah.
I remember there was this girl I had a crush on.
I got millions.
Dude, I remember there was this girl I had a crush on, and she invited me to her party, and I was nervous, so I got fucking wasted off of whiskey, and then I ended up just taking a standing piss on her couch.
Yes.
And
that's the type of stuff I'm talking about.
And this is like retold to me because I was blacked out.
Sure.
And apparently she goes, "What are you doing?" And I turned around and go, "Where the fuck else am I supposed to do this?" Like angry.
Yes.
Like, you fucking that
my
kind of angry.
God.
And then I realized what I was doing. This is all secondhand. And I got really embarrassed. I was like, I'm so sorry. And I ran and fairly laid in the middle of the street. And I was like, I'll fix this.
Oh
so
my God.
My brain was, I'll just kill myself.
I'll fix this. Oh yeah, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Isn't that in that movie, The Program?
Yeah.
The dude lays in the middle of the street. Jesus Christ!
But I was really young when I was like 23.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was thinking
23.
even teenagers.
No,
yeah,
no.
23. Yeah, the 20s were tough for drinking for sure. I had a buddy of mine pee in my closet.
Yeah.
He had a bad problem. And then I did that one time I was in San Diego. I don't drink tequila too much anymore, but that night I did in Old Town San Diego, and I was with my girlfriend. I cried at the bar.
Yep. Good move.
Oh, she's like, Jesus. Cried at the bar, went back there, threw up on the hotel room bed, and then woke up and peed on her shoes. And then she was
a
like,
dog?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, think about those
You're
actions.
mine now.
Yeah, right?
Those shoes are mine.
And yeah, claiming her Converses. And she was like, she did the same thing, like kind of like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And I did I was like, what the fuck are you doing in the bathroom?
Yeah.
And it's like, you are in the corner of a hotel room, big dog, large dog. So yeah, she threw those shoes away. Stuck with me for another, I think, 6 months before she broke up with me.
She realized she couldn't fix you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was unfixable back then.
Dude, you were talking about the detective drinking the whiskey, trying in the coffee.
Sure.
Trying to figure. I've been thinking a lot about, this is embarrassing that I didn't realize this until like recently. Is that all when you watch Mad Men or anything that takes place in the 50s?
Love Mad Men.
They're all crushing whiskey all day. Right?
Yes.
And you think like, are they just such men that liquor doesn't affect them?
No.
But you know what I realized? I didn't know this. I never put this together. That whole generation was in World War II. They all were just destroyed with PTSD.
Yeah.
So they were drunk. They were just, every time they close their eyes, there's a Japanese guy running at them.
Some sort of Asian. There's some Korean War guys in there, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They're all liquored up.
Yeah.
Trying to forget the fucking war. So we put these like damaged men in these nice tweed suits.
And they were like, go raise a family.
Go
Make a
work in
living,
an
raise
ad
a family.
firm.
Also, decide the future of the country through advertising.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot recently. I rewatched Mad Men quite a bit, and I rewatched it probably the third time last year. Also, it's a great. I don't know if you rewatch shows.
I do. I just rewatched Succession.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm excited to do that. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
But Mad Men is a beautiful rewatch. It's just a fucking great show. But this is the first time I was looking at it, and I was like, it's about these men that defined the advertising agency as we know it in this country. And advertising has such a huge impact on where we're at now, but also like the last 50 years, just like the messaging and shit like that.
Yeah.
Dude, the people making these decisions were bombed drunk. Like
Yes.
that thing where he did the Hershey's pitch in the and he cried about his father or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that was probably most meetings that they had. These guys were
that and screaming under the desk,
lit up like a Christmas tree. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, right?
People slamming liquor.
Oh my God. Like, what type of, so the advertising things like make so much more sense. Like, or like pretty much cereals in general. It's like, what should we do with this colorful cereal? It's like, what about a rabbit that fucks with children? Yeah. It's like, are you drunk? And it's like, yeah, I am.
So are you.
Yeah, that sounds kind of fun, doesn't it? It's like, I don't know, draw it up. It's like these ideas are crazy.
Was that they were so full of testosterone in the old days that liquor just didn't hit them.
You think so? Yeah, you think that it actually was. They were very functional. Well, they were.
No. I'm thinking that they were just drunk, and I'm giving them too much credit.
Okay. Oh
yeah.
Right.
But my whole life, I thought they were just more manly than me. Because I'm like, if I drink liquor all day, it's a problem.
It's an issue, a huge issue. Have you ever?
At the very least, I'll be asleep.
Have you ever looked up Winston Churchill's day?
No, did he do a Hunter S. Thompson type list? It was a Mark Wahlberg list.
It didn't hit Hunter S. Thompson. That is crazy.
Yeah.
But no, Winston Churchill's list was a lot of. First of all, it was a lot of champagne, dude.
Champagne.
He was doing champagne. He was doing rosé. Like it's like, what the fuck is this dude doing? But like his day would start with that and brandy.
Yeah.
But it was like all day, and it was steady.
I mean, that guy fought a lot.
They say that and they say that he would get so drunk that you would bring an idea to the meeting or whatever, because this is peak World War II shit.
Yeah.
He was making a lot of decisions.
Yeah, the cabinet.
So these decisions would come up. He would talk shit about the decision, say how dumb that decision was, and then the decision would carry out, and he would then take all the credit for the decision because he was so drunk that he didn't realize that he didn't want to do the thing that they did. But kind of
they were treating him like a baby.
Yeah. And he's so like revered.
I know.
It is funny. I mean, Nixon was drunk.
Was he?
I think Nixon was pretty drunk the whole time.
I think our drunkest president was Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh yes, I've
think
heard
he
that.
was like a straight up alcoholic.
It was like an issue.
Ohio boys.
Yeah, Do we have like 7
the
presidents?
most, I think.
Taft, Grant. Then we have a lot of the like
ones that you like
throw a poke in there.
Like Franklin Pierce from there.
Yeah, I think I don't know about Pierce, but like those
the ones
types.
You don't fucking think about.
Maybe Wilson might have been Ohio.
That sounds right.
Woodrow.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But yeah, we definitely threw some in there, but yeah, Grant was like a problematic drunk.
Yeah. Well,
and then didn't he like his last 10 years were pretty depressing, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, like he was like
his administration was depressing too.
Yeah,
he was a whole mess the whole time. He was just they called him a functioning drunk, but I don't think he was.
He was just a drunk.
Yeah. But it's funny that you really look like you're like it doesn't really matter who's president. You got a drunk guy.
100% agree.
Things just keep going their course.
Dude, Trump tried his hardest to fuck everything up. And it was kind of like we're fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but it was like he didn't really do.
The peasants got weird.
Yes.
People at my economic level, he made us all crazy.
Yeah.
But as far as the direction of the country, it was
steady.
Yeah.
I know. It's funny. He was just very loud. He's, bull in a china shop type dude. But it was like, I completely agree. It's so funny getting older and thinking the president is the most important person when you're a child. And then now you're like, it's funny that you always think that the president is like a Muppet, right? Or what is it? A puppet? I guess you would say a puppet. Muppet. Yeah. Muppet would be something that you talk for too. But, like Bush, if you go back and you look, and we know everything we know about Bush the second, George W., my favorite. The first original funniest president ever. Effortlessly funny. Mm-hmm. Great dude, good hang, all that stuff.
I think effortless is the way to explain
effortless. Effortless.
Wait, he was effortless.
He didn't even want to be president.
No.
If you put him on a lie detector, he did not want to be president. He just, again, classic puppet, right?
Yeah.
Classic, like, people controlled his whole administration more so than he did himself. And it's funny that we now have a dude that literally is probably walking around like a puppet. Like he's actually like, I don't even think he might be on strings, dude.
Yeah.
He's like probably being walked around by somebody else too. Yeah. It's crazy.
He's just
he's not there.
What do you think they shoot him up with? Do you think it's B12?
I don't know.
Do you think it's bigger?
I don't know enough about that stuff. I just assume that they're fucking putting new like blood in him every week and shit like that. Like,
I
know you can go to Germany and get a new calf. Joe Burrow probably did that for his calf.
I'm sure Aaron Rodgers.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, dude, I heard he's gonna be back in like 8 months. I heard he's throwing already, dude.
And nobody wants to say stem cells out loud.
If anybody's gonna do it, it's him for sure.
They stuck a vacuum into a baby's head and then shoved it right into his
Joey
heel.
B's got, because Trump was on that good. Trump was on something.
He was on Sudafed, British Sudafed.
Is that real?
Do you remember in that? It might have been the "I love Hispanics" post.
With the
Taco Bowl.
taco.
I might have been that picture, but there's
Taco Bowl didn't even look that good.
No,
it was like a very like mid Taco Bowl.
Yeah, it looked like an airport.
Yeah, 100%.
But there was a cabinet open, and it was just full of British Sudafed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it might have been that picture. I'm not sure.
Okay, but it was one.
There was a picture where somebody zoomed in, and there's just because he's like real.
What is? Did you snort that?
No, I think it's a pill you take, but it's kind of methy.
Oh,
because that some decongestion speed you up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I heard he was definitely, but he also was getting some other stuff too.
Oh, for
I mean,
sure.
a guy that size should not have that much energy.
No, he's what 6'6".
He should be lethargic.
Yeah.
Well, also he's like
He's
just
fat.
massive. Yeah, he's just a big boy.
He's starting to lose it too. This is gonna.
He's starting to lose it.
No, I mean as far as like cognitive ability, like putting sentences together. I know he was always a rambling moron, but sometimes that felt like a car salesman more, where he was trying to confuse you.
Well, no, it was tactful, and it was like,
But now he's like, he gave a speech the other day where he said he beat Obama in an election. He's headed down Biden lane.
I love it.
Yeah, it's just going to be two fucking amnesiacs.
Crazy. That's what I'm trying to like. Also, I know I joked at the beginning about like you don't want two Irish Catholic, Roman Catholics talking about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But one thing I will say is, do you feel like things like this always make me feel like we're just on the cusp of the end of things? And do you get excited that we might be a part of the end of the world?
No.
You don't like that?
No, I think there's a certain narcissism where every generation thinks they're the end of the world.
I completely agree.
And I think it's actually that is like a convenient, relaxing thought to people with $8 in their bank account. But I think the bitter truth is that it's not ending anytime soon.
And it's
just
going
to get
horrible.
Worse and worse and worse, but it's gonna keep on fucking trucking for a while.
I didn't think your answer would be worse than what I thought. That's horrible. I know, dude. It's so
Armageddon is my retirement plan. Don't get me wrong.
It could be. It's the end of things, really. It's like the end of our. It could be the end of this country, maybe.
What is the
not the end of this country?
It's the end of the world
like,
as we know it.
Yeah,
that. It's the end of the world as
we know it. Yes, that's right.
But no, I don't.
Shout out to Michael Stipe.
Yeah,
is he still alive?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's been battling cancer for years.
No, he just shaved his head.
I know. Doesn't he look like he's just been battling it for years?
He one time I accidentally.
Isn't he from Maine?
No, Athens.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew there was a connection there. All right.
So I went to this play, this little local Athens theater group when I was really young, and I was a very fired up, like anarcho-punk political kid. And Michael Stipe is a part of a property management group. He got into real estate. He owns a lot of property around Athens.
Good for him.
And
what a move for that career.
And he was a part of. I can't remember the exact specifics, but they were banning like house parties in Athens.
Okay.
And
because Athens is what university? Is that Georgia?
UGA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Georgia.
Okay.
Go Dogs. Sick 'em.
Yeah. Gonna win again, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Injuries.
I don't know, I'm stoked on Washington. I know West Coast teams don't win it, but I'm fired up about Washington.
The Pac-12 will ruin itself.
Yeah.
This will be the ultimate year that they'll do it. The last year that they can do it.
Also,
they'll lose to.
Have you seen Washington at all?
Yeah.
Penix.
This past one, the Oregon game.
He throws like Dennis Eckersley. Like everything he throws is a sidearm.
It's bizarre, but it works.
I like. It won't. I don't know if that would work in the NFL.
No. I don't think it will.
I think he'll get tipped every pass.
Yeah, but I like that. I like that team a lot too. But well, either way, Michael Stipe.
Yeah.
what a tangent. Dogs look good.
We can talk about anything. Dude.
Yeah.
So Michael Stipe was part of this group, and I can't remember what was going on, but I remember my friend, who's kind of a legendary Athens musician, she went and testified at City Hall, and she was like, this property management group that is kind of lobbying in favor of shutting down these house parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Michael Stipe is a part of this, and the B-52s and the REM, they made their name at house parties. B-52s invented the punk tour, the house tour.
It's called night swimming.
Yeah,
dude. You think you did that it's a party. You're night swimming at a party, dude.
And they tried to, and so anyway, I was fired up about this at that moment because I was living in a house that had shows, and so we were at this experimental theater where the audience had to wear masks. It's some pretentious bullshit. But anyway, so I'm ranting to the guy next to me about REM and all this shit. Pre-COVID. Yeah. No, we're wearing like fucking it's closer to like Kubrick movie of masks. We're like in bird masks and shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah. One of my favorites.
And it turned, and the guy's like, "Oh, really? Tell me more." All this guy that I'm ranting about how REM sucks and like how they're all these old sellouts and all stuff. And then we get outside, and it was Michael.
Oh no!
I had ranted to his face, but because I didn't know it was him, I was pretty articulate. I feel like,
yeah.
And he like wanted to know more. But then I think he was trying to fuck me.
Oh sure.
For a second, because he would go to punk shows and he liked young punk boys.
Really?
Yeah. He was dating a bandmate of mine for a minute. Which is a good position to be in, dude. Senate cars and stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. They're all in their 20s. Every guy was in his 20s. It wasn't.
Right.
Nothing illegal.
No,
happening.
But still, like.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody's got a type.
Yeah. Michael's type.
Michael. Hey, there he is. Hey. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Mike Stipe, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What were we talking about before that? Oh, that's right.
The end of the world
as we know it. That is, first of all, 100% true that we do, as like generationally, we always think that it is definitely narcissism. It's definitely that arrogance of your time. It is funny to think it because at the end of the day, we think that this, I sometimes think like a conflict in the Middle East leads to this, and this. What it really leads to ultimately will be them positioning themselves to have more control over the greater people, and there's people that are positioning themselves to have more power than they used to have.
And a 3% rise in Boeing stock.
Yeah, it's like right. Just invest the right way. You actually could be in the 1%. It is wild shit though, because it's also narcissistic to believe that this is the domino effect that will be the end of the world. It's like this conflict's been going on for 2,000 years.
Yeah,
you think
kind
this
of.
is
people say that. But really 70. Like this one has been about 70 years. Because sometimes I get a little aggravated.
You're right.
People bring in almost too much context without even knowing what they're like. This is a very complicated 2,000-year-old issue, and I'm like, what's going on right now?
I do agree with that.
It's pretty simple. I think.
I agree.
I'll let you guys figure out what I mean by that.
I had to do in college. I had a poli-sci class, and the final was to write a paper on the resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I was like, what? Did you want a binge-drinking 20-year-old to answer this? Like, dude, I got a fantasy football team to draft. What the fuck are we talking? Why am I writing this paper, dude? I remember I wrote something stupid like education. What a fucking naive approach. But, it's shit like this is always, it's scary, probably because, to your point, things are going to be fucking kind of, I don't know, fucked up for the next couple of years or whatever, but it is what it is.
I mean, you think about people our age, we had a wild ride, dude. We
dude,
came
100%.
to age of
You're
9/11.
38. I'm about to be 37 next month. Yeah. Dude, 100%. We lost our virginity around when those buildings fell. Like 15, 16, 17, I learned how to finger fuck. And then
the towers fell.
Towers fall.
and then and then there's the economic crisis.
Yeah, you get I graduated.
We were at war for 20 years.
I graduated, and people before me, my aunts, my uncles, everybody was like, just go to college and you'll get a good job and all this shit. No.
Mortgage crisis.
Fucking yeah. And then 100%. And then there was stability. I had so much stability in my life as far financially. It was the first time I had like financial stability in 2020 or whatever. I was like and I moved out here, went all in on comedy. I had some money saved up. It is crazy, dude. Yeah. We've just been nut punched.
And punched and punched and
punched. But then the flip side of that is on your point about narcissism. But like, dude, there's also like, let's say you were born in my grandfather was born in 1920, and he was 13 when the fucking It's the Great Depression.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's 22, and they're going to fucking World War II.
And then there's Korea.
And then luckily he blew his ear out, so he couldn't go. He didn't have to go.
Oh, nice.
They like in a training thing, he popped one of his ears, so he got lucky. But yeah, and then on top of that, then there's Korea, then there's conflict, then there's the JFK assassination.
Yeah.
He was born in 1920, so he's 40, and he's like, all right, let's smooth out this decade. Let me raise these children. And the fucking president gets shot. His brother gets shot.
Yeah.
This black dude that's making a lot of sense for everybody, whatever color you are, shot dead.
Right.
This other militant guy that you didn't want to tell everybody that didn't trust.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't want to come off as racist to your new neighbors, but maybe you do because it's 1967. He gets shot, and then you can't actually brag about it because you never liked him in the first place. You got to commemorate him. You got to drive on Malcolm X Boulevard now because it's like,
but don't get gas.
You do not get gas. And then the gas crisis in the 70s.
And
then Vietnam.
Big recession in the 80s.
Vietnam. Yeah, so like it's
just part of being alive.
Right. Like that's right. Isn't that the thing?
Yeah.
I do think my father and mother were born 43 and 47, and they had a nice. If you can get past.
Damn,
they were
old parents.
Yeah, one of them's dead, and then they're older. How old are your parents though?
One's dead, and 55.
Which one's dead?
My mom.
Ooh, all right, flips.
Yeah,
Dead Dad's Club is a tough one. Dead Mom's Club sounds tough though. That sounds tough. And then how old's your dad?
He was born in 55, so what's that?
68? Okay, that's more normal. I think about that a lot. Like, I was raised by a completely different generation than most of my peers.
Yeah.
Like, I was raised by my father was more of the dude that put music onto us, even though my mom loved music, but she liked like show tunes and shit,
like Frank Sinatra.
So but he didn't put Sinatra on us, but he was more born in 43.
Oh yeah, okay.
So Beach Boys,
60,
right? Like
20 to 63.
Chubby Checker, like fucking real oldies. Definitely Elvis.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
And not that, but we did. And then the Beatles, for sure. Revolver was an album that I had. Was Strawberry Fields an album or a song?
No, it's a song.
On Revolver, I think.
I thought that was on the Magical Mystery Tour, but I might be wrong.
What I just remember that song for sure.
Yeah.
And then so Beatles for sure. And then but it's funny because the kids that I grew up with, their parents were John Cougar Mellencamp. Yeah. You know, like.
Oh, you got it better.
Journey. Yeah. 100%. I know.
I born in a small town.
Yeah, Bruce. I didn't have any Bruce.
Yeah, dude.
My dad wasn't on that Bruce shit, dude.
I don't like Bruce Springsteen.
Dude, my brother is trying to put me on to him, and I don't dislike the hit. Like, I love Hungry Heart, I love. There's certain. Yeah, I do. I really do love that song.
Is that what it's on when you were crying at the bar?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just howling at the moon. I do I love certain songs, but like Fifth Avenue Freeze Out or what is it?
I hate all that shit. There's nothing I hate more
all right.
than a guy clapping over his head with a guitar. I just whenever anybody's doing that shit, I hate it.
So I love of that era. I'm a Bob Seger guy. Are you a
too.
Seger guy?
Bob Seger went down to the auto plants when the UAW went on strike.
He's
a real working class songwriting hero.
100%.
Bruce Springsteen, you know his private chef he had for a while left the fucking king of Dubai or whatever to become his private chef, Mr. Working Class Songwriter. While Bob Seger's down there cutting his own hair.
I knew I liked it. Have we ever talked about this?
No.
Oh my God, dude, I love Bob Seger.
I love Bob Seger too.
And my brother did put me on to Bob Seger, and I fucking love Bob Seger.
When I was a little kid, I used to cry to Bob Seger because
turn the page?
I was a little kid, and my mom said something, and I don't even think she meant it so emotionally. She goes, it's just Bob Seger toured for years, and he never got the attention he deserved. He wrote so many hits,
true.
and so whenever I'd listen to him turn the page or whatever, I would cry because I thought he was so ripped off as a talent.
Turn the Page is an emotional song too. Yeah.
I would just be like, why is the world so unfair? This amazing
as long as you're not crying to We've Got Tonight. Something like that just alone.
I'm like 8.
Yeah.
What's wrong with this guy?
We've Got Tonight.
The world's oldest 8-year-old.
Dude, he had some nice slow songs like that. Like We've Got Tonight. He's got some good love songs.
Dude,
Night Moves is like iconic shit.
The Silver Bullet Band versus the E Street Band. Come on.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
I can't get behind Bruce. And it's funny, but my dad didn't really put me on to Seeger, but it was my brother who's definitely more of a music aficionado of like 70s, 80s, shit like that. And he goes back to the 60s too, but Seeger is somebody that I've definitely like fallen in love with too. Seeger and Petty.
Yeah.
I'm a big Petty guy.
Here's my theory on Petty. Any speaker you play him on, it sounds good. It's the most perfectly recorded rock music. Play it on a phone, play it on a crack box, play it on a nice Bose speaker. Sounds good everywhere.
I think he's the greatest American songwriter. I
don't know if
that's
I go that
too
far.
bold, but I don't know.
That's
I
pretty
love
bold
it.
for me.
I think he did it in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
And in the 90s,
I know.
You could argue, like, if you just know him from the 90s, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. I know the 90s stuff is great, but he just kind of looked like an old woman.
Yeah.
And he was like in a top hat.
It was great, dude.
And
Wildflowers I just started revisiting that.
Perfect.
That is a fucking amazing album.
Love that
There's a documentary about how it was made. And it's great because I didn't know Rick Rubin produced it. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So Rick Rubin produced it. It was the first time he got out of the contract with whoever it was. It was one of those classic documentaries where it was like, fuck them. They fucked me for 20 years, blah, blah, blah. And Petty was one of the most forward-thinking musician guys ever. I've watched, there's a couple of documentaries about him that are awesome, but this one was really cool specifically about this album because he's making this album and then he's got to drop a greatest hits thing with the Heartbreakers.
Yes.
And so they got to do one single for it.
Right.
And dude, he's in the sessions for Wildflowers and he's like, all right, let's go fucking on Tuesday. Let's go write this song. And he fucking writes Mary Jane's and you're a fucking Tuesday, dude. And they come back and he keeps writing Wildflowers, but he just lets that Lucy go.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, that was him just whatever. Let me just tack
he was
on
just
some
he
bullshit.
was in a writing zone.
Number one hit.
Well, because he was so smart with he wrote the way that he was writing Wildflowers was very personal. He wanted to write these singer-songwriter type songs that he loved and he
Don't
couldn't
Fade
do.
On Me is my jam off that album.
100%.
Yes.
But he knew also on that he needed a single. What was a single on that?
It was
fuck.
Get to the point, roll another joint.
Let's get to and he because it was
you don't know how it
feels.
Yeah.
Yes, and he literally was just like, again, that's how good he was at making a hit. He just knew he's like, all right, well, I really like that song, the James Gang song or whatever it was from the back in the day. He's like, let's just take that, kind of meld it into this, and like make a hit. He did that in like 2 days too.
Yeah.
Like those are the easiest songs for him.
Yeah.
Like,
have you ever seen on YouTube him hanging out with Gary Shandling?
Oh yes,
it's unreal.
Yes,
it's
they were
like,
close friends.
Yeah, two old Buddhist entertainers.
Well, there's a documentary. Oh my God, what is it? I may be mixing documentaries, but either it's a Gary Shandling documentary or the Petty one. But he's in there talking with him. That's probably a clip from that.
Yeah. They're at Tom Petty's house.
Yes,
and they're just talking, and it's like two genius heavyweights.
Dude, it's
like one of the best little conversations.
I love
I've ever
Shandling.
watched.
Is like my favorite.
I fall asleep to the Larry Sanders Show like every night. That's how I fall asleep.
You try to tell people that like modern TV. You're like, just go watch this. Because your brain will explode because you're like, oh, he did all this.
Yeah, it's all been going on. Yeah,
he's the father
of the single cam, the fake documentary.
You're like, well, I like Parks and Rec, but it was stolen from The Office. It's like, no. You got this all fucked up.
Yeah.
You ever see the meeting he had with, not the meeting, but like the interview
Ricky
he had
Gervais?
with, yeah,
that's classic.
That shit is amazing.
He's not suffering fools. Yeah, Gary Shandling is an asshole, and it's a perfect way.
In the best ways.
Yeah. The kind of asshole you love.
Kind of sometimes in sad ways when you think about some of the bridges he chose to burn, but like him and Saget had a falling out, and you're like, that could have gotten back. But he was kind of a petty bitch too.
Yeah, he's wacky.
But he was one of a kind. He's so unique. I think him. We were talking the other day how like Norm is like one of one, or like an alien almost.
Yes.
I think Gary is.
I agree.
One of one, and somebody that's so worth like exploring if you are into comedy at all.
I was doing this show in the lab the other day, and it's called Undiscovered Geniuses.
Okay.
And
they haven't invited me yet.
I was talking on stage. I go, "There's been about 8 geniuses ever." I was like, theoretically, this show should happen every 400 years. You know, like
you don't throw the genius term around.
No, and I give it to Larry David and Gary Shandling. I would
Larry David too.
Yeah. I would say there's about 4 comic geniuses out right now. Gary's dead.
Gary and Norm are dead.
Norm is dead. Yeah, Norm I would give it to.
You would say Larry. Dude, I'm a weird. I don't know if you can
Cat
call
Williams.
him a genius, but I fucking love Cat Williams.
I think he's the most underrated comedian who's ever talked.
I think he's
the fact that he sold out arenas, but like he's never in anybody's list.
I know he's recently. Dude, I've made sure to put him in my list because he's one of my favorites.
He's like one of the funniest human beings to ever speak.
Have you seen him live?
I have not.
I saw him in Phoenix.
Too scared.
Yeah, so like when I was in Phoenix, like I knew he was at Stand Up Live, so I could usually pop in and just check the show. I watched him do like the first 15 minutes, and I'd lived in Phoenix for probably 6-7 years then, and so by then in the comedy scene, you see everybody locally talk about Phoenix in a way that's whatever.
Sure.
It's hot. It's this. It's that. Dude, he did like the 10, 15 like comics always do, like talking about the city you're in. It was the funniest shit. I was like, I've never even thought about this city like this.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
He has the thing that a genius has, where he takes massively complex ideas and distills them into the simplest. It's unbelievable.
Well, he can also take this thing that's right in front of your face and make it into something you never even thought it was, too. Yes. Both of those things are huge skill sets in comedy, and most people can only do one, if not. Most people can't do either.
Yeah. 100%.
No, one of my favorite things is his last comedy special that he put out, at least the last one that I know of on HBO. I don't know what it's called, but it's in Jacksonville, Florida. You know what I'm talking about?
He opens with
the first 20 minutes is literally about Jacksonville. If you've never been to Jacksonville, you'll be crying laughing. You do not have to know anything about Jacksonville. It's so impressive.
You find yourself being like, 14th and Broadway is fucked up. You're like, well, I've never been there.
Oh my God, it is so funny.
Who can riff on Jacksonville?
It is exactly. And who thinks it's funny if you've not been to Jacksonville? How is that relatable at all? And he makes it relatable.
Yeah.
He is so funny.
He's so funny.
That's a great point. I think he's one of I was going to say I think Eddie Murphy doesn't have to prove to me how funny he is ever. I know he's one of the funniest people alive.
See, I don't see him as a genius. I see him as a force of like
that. No, that's fair actually, because here's another
force of comedy.
Here's another perspective I have on comedies too. Is there's people that are pure white lights of comedy.
Yes.
If that makes sense. And so you're probably right. He falls more into that. Whereas that's Chris Farley, Don Rickles.
Yes.
Eddie. And then, those types that are just like, this person is just fucking funny. Martin Short, to me.
Yeah.
Steve Martin a little bit, but Martin Short to me is.
Steve Martin.
Billy Crystal I really like a lot.
I can't stand him.
Okay.
It never makes me laugh.
He makes me laugh.
Really?
I don't know what. I think it makes me laugh in a way that reminds me of being a kid and introduced to comedy and stuff like that. It's very lighthearted.
Billy Crystal has a sense of humor of a kid who was only around old people growing up.
That's
where
fair.
He was just constantly trying to make his grandparents laugh.
100% fair.
Because I feel like that's where it comes from.
Because I say that, but I haven't watched anything he's done in 15 years. But I just always loved him. Martin Short, I watch still, and I'm like Jiminy Glick. Jiminy Glick is so funny. Used to be my favorite fucking thing in the world, in like high school and shit. I used to get high and watch that all the time.
Oh, you know what I just thought of? This is way off topic, but you said John Mellencamp earlier. And
John Cougar Mellencamp.
John Cougar Mellencamp, John Mellencamp, I think was the evolution.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
John Cougar eventually was like, "That's too much.
It's too much.
We'll add Mellencamp." And then he was like,
"Scrap
the
Cougar
is still way too much. You can't bury Cougar in the middle. That's wild."
Workshopping a name through your career is a crazy.
But
move.
He lives in Bloomington, Indiana, and he has the ultimate big fish in a small pond. He gets away with anything he wants in Bloomington. Like shit, if he lived in LA, he couldn't do it. Like there's a grocery co-op store there, and I was in there, and he walked in just with a lit cigarette. He's just smoking it. My friend worked at the co-op, and I was like, "What's up with the cigarette?" And they're like, "That's John Mellencamp. You can't."
Yeah.
Can't tell him to put
Actually, you can't look.
He's like Joe Rogan in Austin. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
in Bloomington. Like he's like
Chappelle in Yellow Springs.
Yeah. He gets he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Are you? Because you could be a big fish in a small pond. You got those skills.
Oh yeah.
Is that unsatisfactory? Are you trying to be a big fish in a big pond?
I'm just trying to be a fish.
You're just trying to be a fish?
I don't know. Oh, dude,
I feel
thought
if you
about
moved
that.
to any town, any middle market town, you would take it over in 5 minutes.
I think about that all the time.
Yes.
I think about going to. There's a place in Michigan where my uncle owns a property in Pentwater, Michigan. I think about just going there and really running it and kind of changing some things. You have that ability. Dude, adding roundabouts, things like that. Just fucking really, really taking over.
Yeah.
I do think about that.
You know when they reintroduced wolves and the patterns of rivers changed?
Sure. Is that real?
Yeah. Because they changed the way other animals navigate. So the erosion changed.
Sure.
From where that's you moving to that town. The wolf has been introduced to. What was it,
dude? Pentwater, Michigan.
Pentwater, Michigan, dude. The rivers will change.
I love it, dude. I think about running for small town mayor all the time. Phoenix. I was.
You don't have to declare a party as a mayor, do you?
Oh, I hope not. I
don't think you do.
It's the party. I just like to party.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
There's a party in Berlin that actually got a seat in the local city government that was called Die Partei, which is the party, but it also was a pun on the party.
There we go.
Yeah.
See, they get it.
Yeah.
They understand. The Europeans. No, I think about. It's funny being like a little local celebrity in Phoenix. Sometimes you go back and it's like people sometimes recognize you from like Channel 12 News, and you're like, I used to joke. I used to move the needle in Mesa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
It's so dumb. I don't know.
What did you do on local news?
I did the things that I'm doing now, the tailgate. So I do the tailgate.
Right,
I did it for the Cardinals.
Nice.
And then it was
in
Channel
the Kurt
12.
Warner years.
No, I wish it was like in the fucking nobody years.
Weird
it was
Josh McCown
before Kyler Murray, after Carson Palmer. It was horrible. Yeah, John Skelton.
John Skelton. There was some other ones.
There were some bad.
There was a year where
dude.
they had 3 quarterbacks start.
So they had Kolb. Remember when Kolb was like a thing that they thought was going to work?
Kolb?
K-O-L-B. He was the.
I don't know.
He was the Philadelphia Eagles guy, and then he like had a good 8-game stretch, and then he was out there. Forget his first name.
They had some weird fucking quarterbacks.
Glennon, I think, was over there for a second.
Like Glennon, dude.
They should have just rang with Fitzpatrick. They never even called him.
Nobody ever did though. But he was, dude. That was the thing. More than 2 games, he starts fucking floundering.
He would have been fine. He would have thrown it to Larry. That's the thing. I speaking sports now. I think that Larry Fitzgerald is top 3 greatest wide receivers of all time. I don't think it's debatable. If you debate it, then you don't I don't think you really look at how shitty his quarterbacking was for his career. Look at his numbers, and also go watch the film. That dude was a fucking beast.
And you don't think they were doubling him every game of his career?
With nobody's throwing it to him, and he's still getting 100 catches a year.
And his ability to transform from a deep guy to a slot
possession guy, 100%.
Yeah,
and also have no ego in doing that ever.
Yeah. Consistency. I mean, he's got that Jerry Rice level consistency. He was good for 17 years.
Yeah, he played for he didn't even really retire.
Yeah.
He didn't even formally retire. He just kind of faded.
Yeah.
Absolute legend. But it's such a shame the quarterbacks that he had.
You think all the guys who were really good 8 years ago, to be consistent wide receiver is so hard. Julio Jones just got picked up today.
Dude, look how far they dropped so
D-Hop,
quick, dude. D-Hop's fine, but he's falling off too.
He fell off hard. Yeah.
Dude, Larry was a viable option on that team until the year he retired.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's insane.
Anytime he needed a first down,
his hands were. What's the stat? He has less drops than.
This is like a Joey Votto.
It's
type.
a crazy stat. Yeah, I forget what it is. It's like he has less drops than losses or something like that. Not losses. What the fuck is it? It's crazy. Look that one up though. But his amount of drops are insane.
What was the pop out thing? Was it Joey Votto who had that?
Oh, he had never popped out in the infield until 2 years ago. It just happened
12
recently.
years,
dude.
He never popped.
Dude, it's nuts.
It's one of the craziest stats I've ever heard.
He had never had an infield pop.
Yeah. I was going to tell you off camera, but so Bruce Gray and I went to a Reds game.
Yeah.
And we were there to see Shohei. Because it looked like it was going to be his last start because obviously the Angels didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then he blew out his arm. He struck out the side.
Jesus.
And then never came back, and that was the last time he ever pitched. But we were there. The other reason why I wanted to go is, Ellie De La Cruz is like a draw.
The man.
We all wanted to go see him.
Yeah.
So we're hunting down better seats. I got my cheap vet ticks, free tickets, and so we're like, and Bruce is like, let's just walk out this way. And the game had been so boring. Ellie was 0 for 3. Shohei ended in the first inning. Shohei hit a home run and struck out the side in one inning, and then his career ended.
That's crazy.
But then, so when we moved for seats, Ellie hits a triple, knocks in 3 people. Apparently, it was a standing triple, and he just blazed.
Dude.
And then, and then he hit a home run. After that, we missed both. We just bad timing while we were in the stadium, getting a drink or something.
That's what he's like a blink of an eye type of guy too. It'll just happen.
Yeah,
he's crazy to have on a team. It's very exciting. We haven't had a guy like that. Like even when early Joey Votto was really cool because it was like he had a couple games his rookie year where he hit like 3 home runs against the Cubs one time, and you're like, this could be.
But he's not
the
cultural.
Guy.
Ellie is cultural, like the way Tatis was his first year.
Well, Joey was exciting because it was also the back end of the power era. So you're like, oh, we got a guy that can hit 50 home runs. Like that was kind of a big deal then.
Yeah.
But
Jim Thome.
Now you kind of want the old school, like very exciting. I mean,
stealing
really,
second, stealing third, stealing home.
Yeah. You want this dude, which is crazy because Ellie could also probably hit 50 bombs if he wanted to.
Yes.
I don't know if he'll ever be that guy, but he could have a career where he averages 30 bombs a year, 110 ribbies. Yeah. But like Acuna is kind of the prototype of the guy you want. And he is that, but 6'4", 6'6".
I was shocked at how tall he was.
He's like 6'6", I think. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So he's almost like Acuna, but 6'6".
Yeah.
And
every time we left our seat, he did.
He's also doing things that Acuna's already like. Acuna had 70.
How old is Ellie?
21, I think.
Oh my god.
Or he might be 20. Because you know what the crazy thing is they literally took a flyer on him from his classic scout, like ran into him looking for another guy.
Yeah.
He's like, who's this guy?
Yeah, I've always been the other guy. Whenever anybody,
he's this raw talent. He sucked. The pandemic happens and he goes home. I think he's Dominican. He goes home and he spends the entire pandemic back there playing baseball every day with these guys. That are fucking great.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he's got a swing without a hole in it. He's got fucking confidence. Yeah. He came back like a completely different.
He was one of the pandemic went either way for people.
Yeah, he went back and just trained and like it is crazy.
And now he's like the most exciting player in all of baseball.
You could argue he does things that you dream about.
Yeah.
Being able to see in a game, and it's nuts. I don't know if he walked off with a infield home run, but it was like
infield.
Or I'm sorry, inside the park home
run. I believe that he can do
infield home run. No, he's got. You know what he is also. So we've talked about Billy Hamilton a lot because our buddy Bruce Gray used to work for the Bakersfield
Blaze,
the minor league affiliate that Billy Hamilton's on. Billy Hamilton, if you know anything about baseball, has a crazy almost like Paul Bunyan type stories of him, right? Like it's like, oh, he scored from second on a pop fly to right and shit like that.
I turned out the light. I was in bed before it was dark.
And the thing is, but they're true though. Yeah. Like these are true stories that happen. It is crazy to hear them. Ellie is like if Billy Hamilton didn't completely suck dick when he got to the major leagues. Like,
well, you know what happened? They forced him to be a lefty.
Well, whatever. He was
a right-handed hitter.
He sucked. He had to work harder. I mean, I don't know. You're like, I don't know. Like Ellie, is a switch hitter too. Like,
right.
We don't give a fuck what he does.
Yeah.
He's playing shortstop. It's like that because Billy just couldn't figure out how to hit, and he also couldn't figure out how to just bunt singles. His whole career could have been bunt singles.
Yeah, he's such a burner.
I know. I actually no disrespect to Billy Hamilton. I love Billy Hamilton. And then now, so baseball is winding down too. You're a football guy too. So I've been on the road with the Bengals. You're a Packers guy.
Yes.
Are you okay? I thought it was going to be kind of cool at the beginning of the year.
I didn't. I had seen Jordan Love start against the Chiefs. I had seen Jordan Love come in relief, and I have not believed in him for 1 second.
Okay, so you're out.
So there was a poll. I think it was either Lambeau Leapers or one of the bigger Packers Instagram accounts.
Okay.
Did a poll of claiming they talked to 6,000 Packers fans. Whether or not that's true, I don't know.
I mean, there are 6,000
and I was
in that town.
Oh yeah, that's the whole fucking city.
Right. That's the population.
I was at odds with everything they said. Where they said that. So the questions were: should they fire Joe Barry, their DC?
Okay.
Do you believe Jordan Love is the future? And do you think Matt LaFleur is on the hot seat? And they said overwhelming. Said fire the defensive coordinator, which I think the defense is a lone bright spot of the year.
Yeah,
I've been loving their defense this year. I know they're a little porous against the run game, but they got one of those great bend don't break.
We had that Notre Dame, the New Orleans game. You guys were down 17, whatever, and the defense just fucking stood
locked
pat
it down
the whole fucking time.
Yeah. And the Falcons game, that was Jordan Love was the reason why
the Falcons game. Yeah,
they lost that game in the fourth quarter, but that was the offense was 3 and out. They had the most 3 and outs in football right now.
The only bad one was who'd you drop 34 points to? Yeah, but Detroit's kind of
they're killing.
They might be good. They might be very good.
They might be very good. They So I'm fine with the defense right now. And then I thought Matt LaFleur, like, I don't think you come out Aaron Rodgers or not, he's the winningest coach in
Matt
history
LaFleur.
In his first 4 years or whatever.
You don't reactionary and be too reactionary and fire him after 1 year without Aaron Rodgers.
He's calling bad games, but I mean Jordan Love is checking down every play, and he's missing his check downs. He can't throw the simple throws. He can make some pretty difficult throws, but the simple throws are just trash.
Which is the key.
And I don't think he's the future. I just don't think he has any vision.
Well, you guys were
it's been driving me crazy. I had 30-something years. My
That's
whole life.
You've had a quarterback. You've had a quarterback.
Brett Favre would drive me insane. But he was so good.
Yeah. And I mean, what he did off the field.
Yeah.
Come on. He shows his dick and then he shows his ass too. He's fucking laundering money, or what's he doing?
Yeah.
He's funding.
He had the governor redirect welfare funds to build a volleyball stadium at his daughter's college.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, and he's gonna go down for it. He tried to get,
and then he sent the coach his dick.
Yeah, and then they were like, "All right,
all right.
That's as impressive as that is,
your daughter's off the team." Oh my god,
he's the world's most concussed man, though.
I know. What do you expect from his decision making? It is crazy to think that you had because Jordan Love had all this hype going in, and I was like, if they get a third dude in a row,
yeah.
That'd just
be
nuts. And they didn't. It doesn't look
the
early reports are in, but you'd feel like by game 6, game 7, you'd kind of get a better feel than what he's done. He did have that one comeback that was exciting.
Yeah,
but that wasn't more. That was more like not him as much as
Well, maybe it was Aaron Jones was a bit. Wait, which comeback?
The when you were down the Saints 17-3.
Oh, the Saints. No, Aaron Jones didn't play that game. You're right.
No.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah. There was some pretty crazy catches from Romeo Doubs, and there was great defense and some turnovers. Also, Derek Carr got knocked out of that game. James Winston came in.
Also true.
So you
had some Winston stuff.
Comes in, you're gonna win.
You just dangle some crab legs on the side of the field,
But I do think that Jordan Love is not the guy. But I hate to be the overreactionary sport fan. But I'm already texting the group chat. I want to see Sean Clifford. Because
is that the backup?
The Penn State
Penn State guy, yeah.
I saw him at the Rose Bowl. I went to the Rose Bowl last year, and he lit up Utah.
Penn State quarterbacks never really impressed me. He was, I liked him, yeah.
This guy they got now is way better, even.
Oh yeah, I know.
Dude.
The Penn State's been actually kind of weird lately.
They might
have
legit playoff contender.
Yeah. I don't know. The Big Ten's always weird though, because I hate the Big Ten because the whole year you're like, you don't know until the last 3 weeks when Penn State plays Ohio State plays Michigan, Michigan
plays that way too, because the Pac-12 is half the top 25 is Pac-12 right now.
But USC plays UCLA. Well, Washington already played Oregon.
Yeah.
But Oregon State, the thing that the Pac-12 does, again, I said they're just hurt each other.
Yeah.
Washington State is going to ruin it because they're going to somehow beat Washington in the Apple
They already
Cup.
ruined Utah.
Yeah.
They beat Utah.
They're going to
Utah was 12.
But it'll be when Washington State's got 3 losses and they're not playing for anything but a bowl game, and they're like, let's fucking ruin this for the whole conference.
I mean, USC just got annihilated by Notre Dame.
I know.
I love Notre Dame, dude.
I wanted USC. I actually liked that it could be a UW or an Oregon that'll represent the Pac-12 this year, because USC does piss me off.
They can't tackle.
Shit don't stink
They're
type of mentality.
Classic LA. They remind me of the city of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
They've got an amazing, flashy quarterback who's awesome.
Right.
But none of the gritty stuff happens.
Yeah.
Like, they're just soft. They don't tackle.
Yeah.
Where's their Troy Polamalu? They should have some Samoans out there taking heads off.
I do like that Oregon coach, though.
Yeah.
That's a guy that he looks like a dude from Tucson,
he was
Arizona.
coming after
that'll
Dion.
fight you, dude. Oh, I know. I like that.
How funny is it,
like
though,
that
that there was a camera crew and he's giving that speech for the camera.
I know.
Well, talking about how they're doing everything for social media.
Yeah, that's right.
What are you doing?
Doing it for clicks. It's like, dude, I'm clicking this right now.
Yeah, what are you doing?
This
I just
is
hit like on this speech.
Those speeches are so weird because are they doing it for the individuals in the room as much as like? Did you see the one, the Nebraska coach?
No.
What's his name? Rule, the old NFL guy, Matt
from
Rule.
the Panthers.
He literally, it was like a fucking war speech, dude. At the end of it, he's like, "If we die, we die." And dude,
and they all died.
They all died. They're all in Lincoln, Nebraska.
What the hell happened to that? Is what happened?
They won that game though.
Right, but why have they been bad for 20 years?
Scott Frost, and then I don't know.
I mean, like growing up when I was a little kid,
I think it's just the flashiness of. I think Nebraska used to be able to recruit because it's like, where the fuck else are you gonna go? It's Nebraska. Now these kids are like, dude, I could go to anywhere else. What do you mean? Like, you kidding me? I've seen social media. Like
I could see how the NIL would have killed Nebraska, but they died before the NIL.
Yeah, they died after Eric Crouch. They've never been the same since then. That was 2001 or 2003 or something.
He went to the Jets. They made him play safety.
Jesus,
that's what they used to do to mobile quarterbacks.
Well, all I know is the Bengals are back. 3-3.
They're fully back, dude. How about that fucking defensive line in the fourth quarter?
I love them, dude.
Running for his life.
Speaking of honkies, dude.
Yeah, Hubbard.
Dude, what a weird. Isn't it weird having two honkies on the ends? Like,
yeah, that is weird.
It's strange, dude. They're like, it's funny looking at them, but it's Hubbard and what's his name? Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson is a beast. He actually has like. It's crazy because sometimes I'm like, is he good? I'm watching the game, and then he'll just pop up like 4 plays a game.
That's how all pass rushers are. They disappear for a little while.
I know. As long as you control the run when you're not sacking the quarterback, like, let's go.
Dude, there's a lot of honkies who are killing the edge right now. Fucking Max Crosby.
I know.
Dude, he was just all over Jordan.
Bosa.
Yeah, both.
Watt. Yeah, both Bosas. Watt. Yeah, the Whites are kind of. That's a good note to end on. The Whites are coming back. First, speaking of Whites, I got this haircut this week. This dude went way too short. I look like
I know.
I look like a rookie cop or something. Don't I look like? Somebody told me I look like a cop. I'm like, I feel like a rookie cop in like a movie.
Or you got a court date coming up.
A court date. No, I look like the type of cop that fucks everything up in the first 20 minutes of the movie, but like spends the whole movie like building this rapport with Tommy Lee Jones' character, and like he kind of saves the day at the end, and he gets a pat on the back.
Where do you get your haircut?
Dude, this guy, it's on Fairfax, like Crispy's.
It's a barbershop, though?
It's a barbershop, dude. I paid way too much for this.
Too intimidating to the barbershop.
Dude, it was the newest guy there. I usually got this dude named Luigi, this Mexican dude named Luigi, which I was like, is that a thing? Luigi, Mexican?
Probably just love video games.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Could be a nickname. So, and then I got him, and then this dude, the new guy. There's 3 guys. There's clearly a new fucking guy. Or fucking new guy, I should say, FNG. And he had a black dude was next up, and he like looked to Luigi. He's like, dude, I can't do this.
Yeah, it's pressure.
It looked good for him for being honest.
I failed geometry.
Yeah, I can't. But then I get the guy that can't do the black dude, which like I'm not getting a black guy's haircut, but you clearly don't have confidence.
Right.
He's shaking hands. I told him what I needed. I told him what I tell every guy. I always do like 4 something. I do like clippers on the side, and then I'll do like scissors on top and just keep it long. And dude, I always say finger length, but it's kind of like grab it with your fingers and cut it.
Yeah.
But like keep my hair.
Yeah, you look like a boy who's going to a wedding.
Dude.
The parents like cut his hair for the wedding.
This is a buzz cut. I don't know what the fuck. I look like a defensive end for the Bengals. That's what I look like. And it was immediately he goes up top and he goes way too short. And I'm like, it's done. Once you do one clip and it's too short, you can't grow this shit back. What am I supposed to be like? Luckily, we're both blessed with hair.
Yeah.
This thing, it grows back quick, but I was like, God damn it. I look like
this. Guys, the thing about haircuts that I think I've had to explain to a lot of my black friends is that if I need a haircut, I have to get it 2 weeks before the thing I need.
I know.
Like it's the
this
exact
will be fine
opposite.
in a couple weeks.
Yeah. You'll look but like I live in a Mexican neighborhood, so every barbershop in my neighborhood It's just there's 1 through 8. You know, with the numbers, you get a 1 and 2. It's all just different variations of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh yeah,
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. The
it's
wall.
Like, yeah. It's just all Ronaldo.
Oh,
haircuts.
is that? Oh, you have the type of barber that you pointed the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I don't go to that one though because I don't want to look like Ronaldo.
No, these guys are taking care of me. It's funny though. You got to find a good barber. I had one in Phoenix.
I have a hairstylist. I have a gay Korean guy.
That's not bad. How much is that?
45.
That's interesting. I should do that, dude. This was fucking $60 to get my hair not what I wanted.
Yeah, dude. I pay 45, and I like a gay guy cutting my hair.
This is crazy. L.A. You don't like people are probably listening from the middle of the country. Like $45, dude.
I know.
I had a dude in Phoenix, $25. His name was Ruben. I think he was like Middle Eastern or something like that. He used the N-word, so that was his only negative. But I didn't know that he couldn't. He did it around black people too, so I'm like, well, at least he talks the talk, walks the walk. I mean,
that means he has a solid lineup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This dude, he's a good. I trust him with my life. So maybe I just got to go back to Phoenix, be a small town mayor.
Yeah.
Get a good barber. I don't know.
I think that's the way to do it, dude. Smoking in the co-op.
Well, either way, I appreciate you coming on. Bryan Vokey, go fuck with him. One of my favorite comedians. What is it, Mr. Bryan Vokey?
Mr. Bryan Vokey. Bryan with a Y.
Bryan with a Y. Holler at your boy if you guys are coming out. Anybody in the Bay Area, I'm in San Jose on the 28th of October. Also just added Raleigh, North Carolina next week, the 25th. North Carolina. I don't know if anybody is out in that hood, but come through. I got Raleigh, San Jose, Baltimore coming up, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Jacksonville, all that stuff. So the Road Warrior Tour is still kicking, going strong. The Bengals are 3-3. We have life.
Same season every year.
Come on now. Clean slate.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go, dude. Joey B's back, baby. Fucking those honkies on the defensive line, let them cook, boys. No seasoning needed. You know what I mean? Appreciate you jumping on. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.